In this video, we will be highlighting some interesting survival games set to release in the near future. From intense multiplayer experiences to immersive single-player campaigns, these games offer a wide range of challenges and gameplay styles that will keep you engaged for hours on end. Whether you're a seasoned survival game veteran or new to the genre, we think you'll find something to love in the titles we'll be discussing. So grab your supplies and get ready to face the unknown. Vorax is an open-world single-player survival horror game set on a Mediterranean island where a mysterious pathogen has infected the local population. In response, an army battalion is sent to enforce a quarantine. However, communication with them is lost after 48 hours. But the quarantine was only a cover story for the general public though. The real objectives were to locate the biolab, take the samples of the virus codenamed Vorax, and eliminate all witnesses. You are a mercenary sent to investigate what actually happened and uncover the dark origins of the virus. Low on food and equipped with only a small survival kit, you'll have to survive among the terrifying aberrations that roam the island. In Vorax, you'll be able to explore a large and detailed environment consisting of urban areas, sewers, caves, and various infested buildings. During your stay on the island, you'll have to take care of wounds and other injuries, hunt and cook food, craft tools and weapons, and most importantly, choose a strategically good place for your base before night falls. Most enemies, especially the toughest ones, are sensitive to light and come out to hunt at night, so as soon as the sun goes down, the infected will swarm your base. Barricades and fences are life-saving items that keep the monsters away. To save bullets, you can build traps from scavenged materials, which are another security measure for night survival. Sleep and stress mechanisms make survival even more difficult. To help keep your sanity in check, it is recommended to light up your base at night by solving mini puzzles on broken electrical panels to reconnect power to the grid. Vorax has a certain stalker vibe to it, but the creature design was inspired by the 1982 movie classic The Thing, or at least that's how we see it. The developers assured that the main story will have an ending, but the pace of the game will be determined by the players. There will be no pressure to complete it, so you can play it similar to many sandbox games like Stranded Deep or The Forest. Once the game is finished, it will be released for Windows PC. It is currently in an early alpha phase and does not have a set release window yet. Primitive is an open-world survival action-adventure game set in the Stone Age, tens of thousands of years ago, when the planet was inhabited by Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. The game will focus on a single-player experience and feature an original story that will take us on a journey through the primeval world. Thematically, Primitive is similar to titles in the style of Far Cry Primal, but puts more emphasis on realism. Primitive seems to be an exciting game that offers players a comprehensive range of functions, including survival, exploration, hunting, building shelters, and crafting. Combat will play an important role as you'll have to confront numerous threats, including other competing tribes and dangerous wildlife. The animals shown in the trailer include iconic species such as the woolly rhinoceros and the mammoth, both of which roamed the Earth during the Ice Age. There are also fast and ferocious saber-toothed tigers, as well as the massive alligator, which is an iconic apex predator in its own right. To overcome the challenges of the Stone Age, the survivors have a vast selection of weapons at their disposal, ranging from the classic hunting bow and arrow to more primitive instruments such as picks, spears, axes, and even the menacing claw of a saber-toothed tiger. The developers are creating an expansive, varied world with multiple climate zones, from warm, lush environments to frigid mountain regions. These landscapes are enhanced with a dynamic weather system to provide a realistic and immersive experience for players. Thanks to Unreal Engine 5, there is the option to experience the game from either the first or third-person perspective. Currently, the developers have not disclosed whether additional game modes, such as PvP or co-op, will be included alongside the single-player mode. The project is in the initial stages of development, so it is too early to talk about the release window. Primitive will be released for Windows PC. Possible plans for the console version will be announced at a later date. Pacific Drive is an unusual survival game in which you will take control of a car and navigate through a strange and surreal version of the Pacific Northwest. The game takes inspiration from different sources such as Stalker series, where characters must navigate areas filled with supernatural or otherworldly phenomena. This first-person driving survival game is structured as a roguelite, with each excursion into the wilderness presenting new and unusual challenges. The car serves as a crucial companion as the player progresses through these zones and encounters strange anomalies. To make the game more realistic, the developers intentionally create unique behaviors for the cars based on the complexities of real-world vehicles with their interconnected electrical and mechanical systems. These quirks may include dashboard warning lights turning on and off unexpectedly, power windows and locks malfunctioning, or the engine making weird noises. In order to progress, you will need to repair and upgrade your vehicle at an abandoned workshop that serves as your home base. The game mostly involves tense driving from behind the wheel, but there are also moments of vulnerability when you have to step out of the car to gather resources and make repairs. As you progress through the story, the connection between you and your car becomes more and more important. Customize your vehicle to give it its own unique character and watch as it develops quirks and a personality of its own. Now, we're not going to pretend here that we know what developers meant by car personality exactly, but one theory is that we may be able to create our own version of a car like the Knight Rider from the TV show. Pacific Drive is a refreshing take on the survival genre with gameplay that keeps you on the edge of your seat and challenges you to think creatively and stay focused. The game will be released on PlayStation 5 and Windows PC sometime in 2023. Above Snakes is a survival game set in the Wild West. Players will take on the role of Ayala, a young female protagonist set in a fictional Wild West landscape made of isometric tiles where a deadly epidemic has transformed its inhabitants into zombies. Players create their world by placing different biomes next to each other, such as sandy desert, farmland, snow forest, or ice lake. When choosing tiles, preference should be given to those that blend well with adjacent pieces or provide additional value. The biomes offer a range of materials that can be transformed into different types of tools and weapons, from simple wood and stone picks to highly sophisticated iron tools. Above Snakes offers a realistic survival experience with crafting, cooking, hunting, and fishing systems. Players must manage their basic needs, such as thirst and hunger, as well as their fatigue and mental well-being in order to survive. The base building system is easy to use and allows you to quickly build a shelter without sacrificing much depth. By slowly expanding and improving your base, you'll gain more shelter levels that will unlock additional perks, such as better soil for faster harvests, improved crafting stations that will operate more efficiently, deeper wells that provide more water, and fortified walls that offer more protection from the outside elements. To make sure you have the best gear for your next adventure, you'll be able to unlock new equipment by crafting workbenches and advancing in leatherworking, tailoring, and other professions. Build your crop farms in designated garden plots that you'll have to water and fertilize to increase growth speed. Nighttime makes things extra tricky, especially when you can't see that far. Making a torch or two will provide you with much needed light and increase your chances of staying alive. It's essential to be prepared and aware of potential dangers in the environment, such as animal predators, bandits, or even the lost souls that roam the earth. The combat is fairly simple, so you won't be overwhelmed with a bunch of complicated buttons to press. Melee weapons are tied to the left mouse button, while ranged weapons are bound to the right. You can seamlessly switch between the two and combine attacks with dodges and rolls to avoid enemy hits. The developers have promised full controller support. Other features include traders who offer various goods in their stores, and a trusty wolf companion that can fetch items and dig up hidden objects. If you're in the mood for a survival game with a slightly different perspective, you might want to keep an eye on this title. Above Snakes will be released in 2023 for PC and consoles. War of the Worlds is an immersive, open-world horror game that brings the atmosphere of the 2005 Tom Cruise movie to life and adds survival gameplay elements. The game will feature both single-player and multiplayer modes. The single-player story starts before the invasion has begun, and you'll have to survive a certain number of days to reach the end. The multiplayer mode offers a unique experience in which you'll be able to choose a side, humans or aliens. When it comes to the core survival elements, you'll have to take care of health, hunger, thirst, and sleep. The project's main focus is on stealth gameplay, which encourages players to take cover from the aliens. The buildings are designed to allow players to hide in closets, basements, and other rooms. In the finished game, we will have destructible buildings that will give a whole new meaning to hiding in safe places. The Martian tripods play an important role in creating the atmosphere as they set the whole chaos in motion. They destroy everything in their way that resembles a human. Therefore, the developers have given them a very impressive AI that is fully aware of its surroundings and reacts realistically to various situations. They can follow the screams, prioritize targets, and even hear the player's voice over the microphone. To search inside buildings, they use probes that can find their way around even the most complex environments. These probes have procedural AI and are completely physics-based, with no pre-made animations. The coolest part is that they can break open doors to get into closed rooms. And to finish off the remaining targets, the tripods will roll out smaller, highly aggressive alien units that are fast and lethal. In all the chaos, you'll see people freaking out and running all over the place. Other humans may try to rob you of your resources, your vehicle, or your life. Likewise, you can kill NPCs and take their stuff, but the shots might attract the tripod's attention. The game offers a number of other exciting features, including vehicles, bicycles, procedurally generated red weed, and much more. War of the Worlds is currently in an early stage of development. Although the concept is promising, the visual aspects still need some refinement, but if the game is able to capture the fear and tension of the movie that inspired it, it has the potential to be a success. Watching the distant attempts of the military trying to take on the mighty tripods and the destruction of the environment that follows creates an almost cinematic experience, and this presentation is what will initially attract movie fans to the game. War of the Worlds will only be released for Windows PC, but there is no launch window yet. However, an early access version is expected to be available on Steam in early 2023. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date on our latest content. The Lost Wild is a first-person survival horror adventure developed by Great Ape Games. With influences from well-known titles such as Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, Trespasser, and Alien Isolation, The Lost Wild promises to offer an immersive and exciting single-player experience. Players take on the role of Saskia, an investigative reporter stranded in time and alone after a mysterious event. A lone voice on the radio is the only ally you have as you try to survive and unravel the mystery at the heart of the island. The Lost Wild is not an open-world game. From the overgrown, maze-like structures of a Japanese research facility to lush, open landscapes, you can expect a sprawling, multi-layered approach to exploration, emphasized by a cinematic and largely linear narrative. The game will feature a captivating world with different ecosystems and habitats, with a special focus on dinosaurs for an immersive and dynamic gameplay. The developer's main focus is to treat and characterize the dinosaurs as living animals, not monsters. These prehistoric creatures will be equipped with advanced AI to support the core gameplay loops. Similar to Alien Isolation, for example, you'll have to move stealthily and avoid predators that are hunting you. The key to survival is to find and loot useful items to improve your chances and get the upper hand in each encounter. Developed with Unreal Engine 5, The Lost Wild has a cinematic quality reminiscent of Jurassic Park, while borrowing slightly from the adventure and narrative elements of games such as Half-Life and Firewatch. This game is a team's passion project they always wanted to create. The single-player story should last about 6 to 10 hours. Unfortunately, there are no plans for multiplayer or co-op features. Currently, the game is in pre-alpha phase and the release date is still unknown, but according to the developers, it could be released around the end of 2024 or beginning of 2025. The Lost Wild will first launch on Windows PC and later on next-generation consoles. Rooted is an open-world survival game set in the year 2100 after civilization has collapsed due to a global bacteriological warfare. The game is inspired by titles such as The Last of Us, DayZ, Scum, and others, and offers both a first- and third-person perspective. The developers have primarily focused on providing an immersive, single-player experience. However, a co-op mode in which players will be able to explore the world, share resources, and set up camp with their friends will also be available. PvP fans will be able to compete on a special version of the map with specific PvP features that can be hosted on dedicated servers. Following the game's development, it seems that Rooted does not offer anything groundbreaking in the genre. It still has the predominant classic progression path that has often been seen in survival games. You'll start the game in the forest, where you'll learn to take care of basic needs, carry out crafts, and learn new blueprints, as well as build your own camp. Later, you'll discover villages and venture deep into the abandoned downtown, a highly contagious area that requires a special type of protection. In the city, you'll explore skyscrapers, scavenge for resources, repair equipment, and much more. Just be aware that when you arrive, you might be considered a threat by various human groups. Speaking of dangers, the developers have listed 3 different categories of enemies: humans, animals, and robots from the infamous Rota laboratory, which supposedly acts on behalf of the government and uses this situation as an opportunity to exert control over what remains of civilization. At this stage, and with the possibility of further changes before the game's launch, Rooted seems to offer conventional gameplay mechanics already found in other survival games, but in a modern engine with stunning graphics. The game is developed on Unreal Engine 5 and uses an advanced weather and season system with full day and night cycles. An added bonus and a big plus, at least in our opinion, is the possibility to completely ignore the PvP aspect and focus on the PvE survival experience. Rooted will start with closed alpha and beta testing in 2023, with early access to follow in 2024. At this point, the full release schedule is still uncertain. However, it has been confirmed that the game will be released first for PC and later for next-generation consoles. Dune Awakening is an open-world survival MMO set in a Dune universe on the planet Arrakis. The game was developed by Funcom, the creators of Conan Exiles, and was inspired by the source material from the original novels and the recent movie adaptation. As you explore deep cavernous canyons, ancient abandoned botanical testing stations, and boundless dunes, you'll meet characters from the movies and books. In the concept art images, we see lively villages like Windsack, as well as one of the largest cities on Arrakis, the heavily defended Arrakeen, which we assume will be the main social hub for all players. The desert on Arrakis is unforgiving. Massive Coriolis storms will periodically change the landscape, constantly revealing new secrets, from valuable natural resources to crashed spaceships. When the dust settles, the race for the newly available resources begins. Water is a scarce and vital resource. It is of utmost importance to locate water sources, maintain your stillsuit, and build your base to protect against sudden storms. In addition to the harsh environment of the arid desert, players must also be vigilant because of the ever-present threat of sandworms. Search for solid rock to protect yourself from these huge creatures and craft weapons, armor, vehicles, attachments, modifications, and more. One of the most important features that should evoke the epic experience of Frank Herbert's masterpiece is that the world is seamless and shared with thousands of players in a massive, persistent multiplayer. Players will be able to create a guild and grow it into a house minor by allying with one of the great houses. As seen in the trailer, massive spice blows will occasionally occur in the desert, requiring players to react quickly. Hunt for these events with your guild, deploy the harvester, and protect it from opportunistic raiders and rival factions. Asserting economic dominance by controlling valuable materials is a source of conflict that will culminate in massive PvP battles. Dune Awakening supports third-person combat with the fast-paced interplay between infantry, ground, and flying vehicles on a grand scale. Frank Herbert's masterpiece definitely deserves more representation in games in general, so we hope that this project will end up being successful, but remain cautiously optimistic until we see actual gameplay footage with more details. Dune Awakening will be released for Windows PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. The release date is currently unknown, but you can already sign up for the upcoming beta. The link is provided in the description. Nightingale is a shared world survival crafting game set in an alternate reality Victorian fantasy setting. The story follows the collapse of the arcane portal network that led to the beautiful and dangerous Fey realms. Cut off by the collapse and stranded beyond our world, this catastrophe leaves you struggling to survive alone or with friends in a dangerous maze of realms. Your goal is to navigate through portals to find your way to the magical city of Nightingale, the last known bastion of humanity. This mechanic of traversing portals is made possible by realm cards, an interface that allows procedural generation of new worlds. choose between diverse ecosystems, and determine the type of activities you want to carry out in a particular world. The crafting and building gameplay is based on placing a blueprint in the world and providing enough materials to complete it. You can perform all the actions yourself, but also seek aid from friends or even NPC workers who will help expand the estate, automate production, and gather resources. When friends join your adventure, the experience takes on a new shape and becomes much more interesting. You'll go through portals, face challenges, and even build homes and entire cities together, making for a truly memorable journey. The game was originally expected to enter the public testing phase in 2022, but early access was postponed to the first half of 2023. Considering that the full release was also planned for 2023 on Windows PC, it remains to be seen to what extent this delay will affect this date as well. The Day Before is an open-world MMO survival game built on Unreal Engine 5 and set in a post-pandemic America overrun by zombies. Since its first announcement, the game has been accompanied by various controversies and doubts about its release, mainly due to its unrealistically good graphics and over-ambitious features. Even today, despite the already fixed release date, there is a certain skepticism that will continue until we see what eventually becomes of the game. Regardless of disbelief, the game promises free exploration of beautiful but dangerous locations in the open world of zombie-infested America. The gameplay is best described as a mix of DayZ and The Division, with a third-person view, a similar importance of the loot and equipment system, the use of vehicles, and combat with other players. The survival aspect of the game requires you to search through as many abandoned buildings and vehicles as possible to find food, water, and better equipment. You'll also have the possibility to craft and disassemble different items, repair and customize weapons with various attachments, build your base, and much more. There was no news about the game for a long time, which kinda supported the aforementioned controversies and doubts about the credibility of the title. But in December 2022, the developers came forward on Twitter and published very important information about the game, followed with a new short gameplay video on YouTube. It was announced that The Day Before will be shown at a big international event in early January 2023. We will see what will happen in the end, because the announced release for Windows PC is still March 1st, 2023, a day that is approaching fast. So which of these games did you find the most interesting? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more gaming content. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have a great day and a ton of fun.